Hey everybody, it's Rykard here again, back with another black and white Pokemon analysis. Today, we're going to be discussing the nursing Pokemon known as Mamanbou. So let's get started by taking a look at its typing, abilities, and stats. So first off, this Pokemon is a Mono Water type, meaning that it has 4 resistances to Fire, Water, Ice, and Steel, and 2 weaknesses to Electric and Grass, which is actually really good monotyping, and I think Water is probably one of the best monotypes in the game. But as for the abilities, the first one that it gets is known as Healing Heart, which is a cool new ability that works really well in teams because what it does is it gives you a chance to heal your teammate's status condition at the end of every turn. And this is great, obviously, if this Pokemon is out and you have one of your other teammates asleep or something like that, and Healing Heart could potentially cure them of that sleep status. So it's a really cool ability. On the other hand, if you have Rain Up, Hydration will be a great ability to have to heal your own statuses, meaning that if this Pokemon is poisoned or put to sleep or something like that, or uses Rest to induce your own sleep, Hydration will be curing that status at the end of every turn if there is rain. Lastly, its Dreamworld ability is known as Regeneration, which is an awesome new ability and probably the best ability to use with this Pokemon in a singles battle, because what it does is it heals your HP by a third of its health every time you switch out. And as you see by the stats on this Pokemon, it has absolutely massive HP at 150 or 165, which if you don't even put any EVs into it is already at 440, which is absolutely ridiculous. Um, it gets 80 defense to go along with that HP, which is pretty good defense, and the high HP will be a nice buffer zone for that, meaning that it might seem like you have more defense than you actually do because of it, but it works out well for that reason. On the other hand, though, your special defense is really not that great, only at 45, but again, the high HP kind of gives you a buffer zone for that low defensive stat. As for its attacking stats, its physical attack is at 75, which is pretty average, decent amount, I guess, and it is kind of not going to be able to be used really because this Pokemon doesn't get any attack boosting moves like Cheer Up or something like that. So the highest you can make your attack still really isn't that high. On the other hand, its special attack, even though it's only 40, can still be used because of the fact that you can learn Calm Mind to increase that stat. So even though it's incredibly low, after a couple of combines, you'll be pretty good on the special attacking end and be able to do a lot of damage with it, which you will see in one of the sets I have for you. And lastly, its speed is only at 65, which isn't the best, but as you can see just from the HP and defensive stats, it's probably going to be used as a wall more so as a speedy attacker. So the speed really doesn't matter so much in this situation. But with that, let's take a look at the first set for this Pokemon. So for this first set, we're going to be using a Bold Nature to increase Mamanbou's physical defense but decrease its physical attack. And then we're going to be using the ability Regeneration, its Dreamworld ability, so that we can recover a third of our health every time we switch out. As for the EVs, we're going to put 252 into HP to max that out, which is a really high 534 HP. As to the defense, we're also going to be maxing that stat out with 252 EVs into it. And then the remainder of the EVs are going to go into special attack so that you have one more point in that stat. As for the item, we're going to be using Leftovers to increase our already massive HP a little bit at the end of every turn. For the moves of this set, the first one we're going to be making use of is Wish, to not only increase your HP, but obviously be able to increase another teammate's HP as well. And if I didn't explain this in a previous video, Wish works a little bit differently in this generation, meaning that it heals HP equal to half the HP of the Pokemon that used Wish. So if you use Wish with Mamanbou and then switch out to another Pokemon, it'll heal that Pokemon equal to half of Mamanbou's HP, which is 267. And in most cases, that'll be enough to completely heal whatever Pokemon you switched into, which is amazing and allows this Pokemon to be really, really useful at keeping your teammates alive and also lasting for a really long time if you use it for yourself. And obviously, Protect is a great other move to have along with Wish to allow you to gain that HP back and some leftovers recovery as well. As for its only attacking move, we're going to be making use of Boiling Water. And the reasoning for this is because it's still pretty good, or it still has a pretty good base power, only at 80, but we're going to be hopefully using it for the chance to inflict Burn, which will not only hurt your opponent every turn, but also lower their physical attack. And since we are running EVs that would max out our physical defense, the Pokemon that gets burned is essentially going to be able to do nothing to Mamanbou, which is absolutely amazing. And this Pokemon could be a very, very effective physical wall because of this. As for the last move, the options are going to be between Toxic or Mirror Coat. The reasoning for Toxic would be if you're facing another Pokemon that is either stalling or something like that, or a Pokemon you don't want to burn for various reasons. I don't know why, but Toxic can work well to break down other walls that your opponent has and allow you to probably outlast them because of Wish and Protect combination. The other option would be Mirror Coat, as I said, because of this Pokemon's ridiculously high HP, but not so amazing special defense. And the reasoning for that is because the HP serves, as I said before, as a buffer zone for your special defense, meaning that attacks will be doing like 200 damage or 300 damage to you because your special defense is so low, but because your HP is high, you'll be able to survive them. And since Mirror Coat is based on damage rather than actual power of the move used against you, chances are any Pokemon that uses a special attack against you that doesn't KO you will die from Mirror Coat. So that's a really awesome ability to use if you don't want to be using Toxic. As for this next set, my goal with it was trying to allow it to still retain its defensive abilities while also being able to set up defensively and offensively on the special side. So first, we're going to give it a Modest Nature to increase its special attack but decrease its physical attack, and we're still going to be using the ability Regeneration. As for the EVs, we're going to put 4 into HP, 252 into defense to give you your highest defense possible with a Modest Nature, and 252 into special attack to max out your special attack. As to the item, again, we're going to be using leftovers, so as you can see, we're still trying to be defensive with this Pokemon, but putting a bunch of EVs into special attack at the same time. As to the moves, we're first going to use Wish again, but this time it's not going to be used in combination with Protect, but rather Calm Mind, to be increasing your special defense and your special attack by 1 stage each time you use it. And the great thing about this is because Mamanbou's special defense, as I said before, is not that great, so Calm Mind will help remedy that by obviously boosting it, and it will also remedy its really bad special attack by 1 boost from Calm Mind. And after a Calm Mind, you're actually running on some pretty high special attack. You're around, I think, 300, so that's decent enough to do damage with, and you can just keep Calm Minding and wishing to obviously gain more HP and increase your defenses even further. As for the moves, again, we're going to be using Boiling Water, and the reasoning for this is because even though Surf has more power, or Hydro Pump has more power, we're not putting the EVs into HP again, so Boiling Water will definitely help out your defensive abilities by burning your opponent and allowing them to do less damage to you. And since you are setting up with Calm Mind on the special side, you are pretty much covered in both defenses for the majority of attacks you'll be dealing with. And also it can probably trick your opponent into thinking you have maybe the first set, because obviously this one is very similar, just it allows you to be a more effective attacker. As for the last move, we're going to be using Shadow Ball. And the reasoning for this is because it gives you good typing or type coverage along with Boiling Water, but it also will allow you to deal with the water ghost Pokemon known as Burungaru, who seems to be the other defensive water type Pokemon introduced into this generation. And I've seen that Pokemon used in the majority of Wi-Fi battles I've seen. So Shadow Ball would be a great way of dealing with that and also giving you good type coverage with Boiling Water. But as you can see with this set, it allows this Pokemon to be defensive and offensive at the same time, which is great and probably makes amazing use of the EVs and the moves that this Pokemon can use. But that's about it for Mamanbou. As many people have said, it looks like it would be the evolved form of Love Disc, and I can't argue with that. And that'd be amazing if it was, because Love Disc is not that good. But one can hope. But that's about it, as I said. So I guess I will see you guys in my next video. So take care and goodbye.